My parents dropped me from Thanksgiving like it was nothing. No hint, no build-up, just my mom on the phone saying, Ava wants her boyfriend's first impression to be perfect. If you come, it might make her look bad. I was in my garage when she said it, hands covered in grease, the cold creeping down my collar. After that silence, I didn't push back. I didn't plead. I simply ended the call and stared at the floor as if it might explain why my own family felt fine discarding me. I assumed the situation was finished. I accepted the sting quietly. But the next morning there was pounding at my door. My entire family on the porch, furious, and Ava's boyfriend standing there saying something that flipped everything upside down. My name is Willow Carter. I'm 29, a mechanic who spends most days beneath engines instead of under soft lighting or around cheerful holiday tables. People tell me my appearance doesn't match my job. I've got long hair usually pulled back, eyes that reveal more than I'd like, and features that stay gentle even when there's grease smudged across my face. But none of that has ever mattered to the Carters. To them, I'm the fixer, the worker, the background piece. I grew up in a household obsessed with looking flawless. My mom crafted our family image the way others curate social media feeds. Every smile rehearsed, every outfit coordinated, every story polished until it gleamed. And beside Ava, the family's shining display model, I always faded into the wallpaper. Ava sparkled. She glided into rooms like applause followed her. Dad adored introducing her, his daughter in PR with perfect curls. When he mentioned me, it was always in a half shrug. Useful, he'd say. Not talented. Not impressive. Just practical. I stopped trying to correct the story they wrote about me. Every attempt only made me feel more out of place. So I became the one they leaned on. When the pipes burst, I repaired them. When Ava scraped her car in some parking garage, I drove across the city to rescue her. When my parents forgot due dates, I handled the consequences quietly. Piece by piece, I poured myself into them until there was nothing left for me. The only place that felt like home was my workshop. The smell of oil, the heavy clunk of tools, the familiar growl of an engine turning over, those things made sense. Machines didn't shrink away from me. They didn't compare me to Ava. They never asked me to dim my light for someone else's comfort. So when Mom told me I wasn't welcome at Thanksgiving, it didn't shock me. But it still hurt, deep and heavy like something pressing right against my ribs. She used that same gentle, sugar-coated tone she always used right before delivering a cut meant to slice. Ava wants everything to be perfect for him, she'd said. Your presence might complicate that. I stood there in the buzzing shop, phone in hand, the overhead lights flickering on and off as the winter wind rattled the doors. Realizing I could be erased so easily from a holiday meant for gratitude, made something inside me settle. Not anger. Not yet. More like a final piece snapping into place, a truth I had ignored finally locking tight. I wiped down my tools, closed the garage, went home to an empty house and a kind of quiet I wasn't used to. And I thought that was the end, until the very next day when my family showed up. Ava's boyfriend stepped forward, and his words changed everything I thought I knew. For the first time, a thought lingered in my mind. What would it feel like to build something that didn't include them at all? I hadn't even fully processed it when a hard knocking rattled my door the next morning. Still half asleep, hair loose around my shoulders, I opened it to find my entire family on the porch. Mom, Dad, Ava, and that boyfriend they'd apparently been priming for months. Their faces glowed red from the cold and from anger. Mostly anger. Mom didn't even bother with a greeting. Why did you tell people you weren't invited? She demanded, her voice sharp and slicing. I didn't tell anyone, I said. You must have, she snapped. Grandma called, asking what happened. Do you know how embarrassed we were? Embarrassed. The same word she had used about me. The same one meant to preserve Ava's flawless image. Dad shook his head slowly like I was some problem he'd already solved years ago. You always twist things, Willow. Always painting us as the bad guys, he said. Ava crossed her arms, her cream-colored coat spotless, eyes narrowing at me as if my pajama pants and loose t-shirt were a personal insult. It's unbelievable you're acting like this right now, she said. Don't you get how much pressure I'm under? I almost laughed at the word pressure, until the boyfriend stepped forward, hands tucked in his pockets, calm, watching. Logan Hayes. Tall, clean-cut, the kind of guy who looked like he spent hours practicing smiles in the mirror. He didn't look angry like the rest of them. He looked curious. Mom continued, trying to justify herself. You should have accepted that Ava is creating a specific image. Her career depends on it. Showing up in work boots smelling of engine oil. Dad interrupted. It's not unreasonable to ask you to stay home 1 year. Ava added. It's literally nothing. I've explained it. Let people pile logic and excuses on top of one another like bricks. I stayed silent. They got louder. Finally, Mom asked, anything to say for yourself? Before I could speak, Logan stepped closer. Wait, he said slowly. You're Willow Carter? The porch fell quiet. Ava blinked, confused. What are you doing? She whispered sharply. I said you're Willow Carter. He continued, eyes steady. The one who restored that 72 Charger. The one everyone on the forums couldn't stop talking about. My heart stopped. Not because he recognized me, but because my family didn't. They didn't know about the work I poured myself into. Ava's jaw dropped. No, she just fixes cars, Ava said weakly. Logan shook his head. No. She restores them. She builds them. I followed her work for months. Dad scoffed. You're joking. Mom's frown deepened, caught off guard. Ava's face flushed a deep crimson. The kind that spreads from the neck upward when the floor disappears beneath you. Logan's eyes didn't waver. Your craftsmanship is remarkable. And just like that, everything shifted. The careful hierarchy of my family's world wobbled. Ava's perfect facade cracked. Mom's script faltered, Dad's certainty weakened. For the first time, someone saw me, not a tool, not a background character, but someone who mattered. And they hated it. For a moment, no one spoke. The cold pressed in, snow falling slower than usual, and my family froze, unprepared for acknowledgement of me that wasn't filtered by their judgment. Mom recovered first, stepping in front of Logan with a stiff smile. That's very nice, but it doesn't change anything. We're here to talk responsibilities. Responsibilities. That word had been shackled to me my whole life. Dad cleared his throat. The roof's leaking again. You'll need to take a look today. Ava added quickly. And I need money for decorations. You know how important this event is. Can you transfer it by the weekend? I stared. You want money after uninviting me? She rolled her eyes. Don't be dramatic. It's separate. I can't risk a bad-looking event. It reflects on my work. Mom nodded sharply. Family helps family. Have you forgotten that? I almost laughed. They hadn't come to apologize. They came to demand. Logan's gaze swept from them to me. You're serious? Dad barked. This isn't your concern. But Logan didn't flinch. He studied me with a clarity I wasn't used to. Ava's voice rose. Focus, Willow. I need money and the roof fixed. Don't make us look foolish. That word again, foolish image. Something inside me shifted, not abruptly, but with an undeniable settling, like sand sinking to the bottom of a jar. No, I said. Steady. Calm. Final. Mom blinked. What did you say? I'm not fixing the roof. I'm not paying for decorations. I'm done covering bills. Silence broke across the porch. Dad stepped forward. After everything we've done for you. Everything you've done? I interrupted. You mean feeding me as a kid? That's parenting, not a lifetime contract. Ava scoffed. You're being ridiculous. You always help. Not anymore, I said. The words hit heavier this time. Mom's voice climbed. We raised you. And I'm grateful, I said, calm. But that doesn't give you a permanent claim on my life. The wind carried my words like cold fire, leaving their shock echoing back at me. Logan let out a long breath, like relief had finally found him. Good for you, he said softly, loud enough for them to hear. Ava's face contorted in disbelief. Why are you siding with her? She demanded. He met her gaze evenly. Because she's right. The shift was immediate, sharper than before. Mom's cheeks flushed. Dad's fists tightened. Ava's eyes glimmered with a rage I had never seen. You'll regret this, Dad spat. But fear didn't touch me. Instead, something quiet and strong stirred inside. Something I had never named. Boundaries. Leave, I said. They froze unsure until Logan stepped back. Not toward them but toward me. It broke the invisible control they thought they held. Without another word, they stormed off, car doors slamming, snow swirling behind them. I watched in steady silence, my pulse calm, knowing a line had finally been drawn, one that couldn't be erased. By Christmas Eve, snow had already piled high against the garage doors. Inside, heaters hummed, casting a warm amber glow across the concrete. Laughter filled the room in a way my childhood home never had. Mr. Bennett recounted tales of mail carriers braving winter storms. Teens from the shelter teased one another over burnt pastries. Little Lily darted between tables with a crooked, star-shaped cookie. Tasha hugged me so tightly I had to laugh to free myself. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't curated. It was real. And for the first time I belonged. I reached for more cider when the garage doors rattled violently, making everyone jump. Before I could react, they burst open. Winter air slammed inside, and there they were, Mom, Dad, Ava. Red-faced, furious, rage etched deep. "You humiliated us," Mom yelled, pointing at me as if I'd committed a crime. "Do you know what our relatives said after you abandoned Thanksgiving and lied about us?" All eyes in the garage turned toward them. Dad stepped forward, finger jabbed in my direction. "You think you're better than us now. With your little garage, your followers." Ava shoved past, mascara streaking her cheeks. "Logan left," she spat. "He walked out on Christmas. He needed space from my family, and from me." Her glare cut the air, aimed squarely at me. "This is your fault." A hush fell over the room. Teens froze. Tasha held Lily closer. Mr. Bennett rose slowly, a hand on cane. "I didn't make him leave," I said quietly. Ava's voice exploded. "You took him from me." From behind them, Logan stepped into the doorway, snow dusting his coat. "No," he said firmly. "She didn't." Ava spun toward him. "Why are you here?" "I wanted to be somewhere real tonight," he said steadily. "Somewhere honest. Your sister built that. And you? You've never really appreciated it." Mom gasped as if slapped. Logan didn't waver. He looked at me. "I'm sorry you've lived like this so long." Silence pressed against the walls. Dad scoffed. "This is absurd. We're her family, not you." "Family doesn't treat her like a tool," Logan replied. Ava snapped. "You're choosing her?" "I'm choosing decency," he said. The room held its breath. Mom's voice rose, trembling. "Willow, tell him he's wrong. Tell him you didn't pay our bills, fix our house, carry this family. Tell him we never relied on you." I moved behind the workbench, pulled out a brown envelope I had prepared weeks ago, long before admitting why, and held it out. "These are the payments," I said. "Everything I've covered over the years." Dad grabbed it triumphantly, but as he unfolded the papers, his expression shifted. Insurance, repairs, fees, emergency fixes, every single dollar accounted for. Mom's face drained of color. Ava's lips quivered. "You kept track." Mom whispered. "No," I said. "I kept boundaries. You just never noticed until now." A heavy silence settled. "You're unbelievable," Dad muttered, voice shaking. "We raised you, fed you. You owe us respect." "No," I said calmly. "I owe honesty. Here it is." "I'm done," Ava screamed. "You ruined everything." Logan stepped between us. "Stop blaming her for your choices." Mom lunged for the papers. "No one will believe this." I gestured around the garage. "They already do." Every face was on them. Not hostility, but truth, clarity, disappointment. "You'll regret this, Willow," Dad whispered. I shook my head. "No. I regret letting it go on this long." Ava turned to Logan, desperation cracking her voice. "Please come home. This isn't who we are." Logan's gaze held hers with finality. "It's exactly who you've always been. I just didn't see it." Tears ran down Ava's cheeks. "So you're choosing her garage over me?" "I'm choosing a place where people treat each other with respect," he said. Mom stepped back, chest heaving. Dad muttered curses. All three looked smaller than ever. Exposed, deflated, stripped of pretense. I opened the garage door wider and stepped aside. "Leave," I said. For the first time they did. Snow swallowed their footsteps as they disappeared into the night. Logan turned to me. "You okay?" I nodded. Something inside had settled. Not triumph, not anger, just peace. I walked back into the warmth of the garage, where my chosen family waited. "Let's eat," I said. The room exhaled. Outside, the storm raged, but inside, the air felt different. Light, steady, free. The weight of my old family no longer pressed on me. People returned to plates, conversations, laughter. Logan helped Mr. Bennett to his car, packed leftovers for the teens. Before leaving, he pressed a hand to my shoulder. You built something good here. Don't let anyone take it from you. In the days that followed, my parents' silence felt less like punishment, more like space. Space to breathe, grow, and remember I didn't need their approval. Work at the garage picked up. Teens came back for Saturday lessons. Tasha and Lily delivered a thank you card. Even the winter sun seemed gentler. Christmas passed. January arrived. For the first time, I felt the calm of a life that belonged entirely to me. A year later, I stood outside the garage, watching snow drift across the lot, lights glowing warmly behind me. My life wasn't perfect, but it was mine. Steady, chosen, earned. I no longer sought a place at a table that never wanted me. I had built my own, and somehow it filled itself. If you've ever had to walk away to protect yourself, you are not alone.